The bright neon lights of a small diner flickered against the cold evening air as my motorcade pulled into the parking lot. It had been a long day meetings, press conferences, more meetings, but something about a simple meal in an ordinary place sounded good for a change. The Secret Service agents stepped out first, scanning the area, their trained eyes catching every detail. Then I stepped out of the black SUV, and as expected, everything around me stopped. The people inside froze some mid-bite, some mid-sentence. Their expressions ranged from shock to excitement to disbelief. I wasn't there for the spectacle. I just wanted a burger. As I walked toward the counter, I noticed a man sitting alone in the corner. He was young, maybe in his early 30s, with broad shoulders and tired eyes. His tray of food sat untouched in front of him. Something about the way he sat, his hands clasped tightly, his shoulders hunched, told me he was lost in thought. I had seen that look before. It was the look of a man carrying burdens heavier than himself. Before I could think much more about it, I reached the counter and ordered a simple burger, fries, and a Diet Coke. Nothing complicated. The cashier's hands trembled slightly as she punched in the order, her gaze flickering toward the agents standing around me. Then, just as I reached for my drink, I heard a voice, strong, clear, and desperate. "Mr. President, please." The entire diner turned in unison. The man from the corner had stood up. His voice cut through the hum of quiet conversations and the background noise of a sizzling grill. He took a step toward me, his hands shaking slightly. The Secret Service moved instantly, stepping forward, their hands hovering near their holsters. But I lifted my hand, signaling them to stop. I had seen desperate men before, and this wasn't a threat, it was something else. "Who are you?" I asked, setting my drink down and turning toward him. His name was Daniel Owens, he told me. A father, a husband, a man fighting against the odds. His voice carried the weight of someone who had lived through more than his share of struggles. He had been working at a warehouse, night shifts, trying to make ends meet. But 3 months ago, he had been let go. No warning, no severance, just gone. The rent had piled up, bills had become unbearable, and now he was days away from losing everything. "I've never asked for anything in my life," Daniel said, his voice cracking. "But I don't know what else to do. I need help." "I've never asked for anything in my life," Daniel said, his voice cracking. "But I don't know what else to do. I need help." The room was completely silent. Even the friars in the back seemed to quiet down as everyone waited to see what I would say. "So, you're telling me," I said, leaning slightly against the counter, "that you're out of work, you're struggling, and now you're here asking me to fix your problem." Daniel swallowed hard, nodding. "I know I messed up. I should have saved more. I should have planned better. But my daughter, she's 7, and she's counting on me. I just need a chance." For a moment, I studied him. The desperation in his eyes wasn't just for himself, it was for his family. He wasn't making excuses, wasn't blaming anyone. He was just a man trying to stand back up after being knocked down. I turned toward one of my aides, who had been standing quietly to the side. "Get his details." Daniel's eyes widened. His lips parted slightly, as if he couldn't believe what he had just heard. "Does this mean?" He started, his voice barely above a whisper. I held up a hand. "It means I'll think about it. No promises." The agents gently guided him back to his seat as murmurs spread throughout the diner. Some people nodded in approval, others whispered amongst themselves. But I knew the real decision wasn't in that moment. It was in what would come next. A week later, in my office, I sat reviewing his case. My aides had done their research. Daniel wasn't lazy. He wasn't looking for a handout. He had applied to dozens of jobs but was met with rejection after rejection. No one wanted to hire a man who had already been thrown aside once. That morning, I made a call. 2 days later, Daniel received an unexpected phone call from the White House. "Mr. Owens, the president has reviewed your case." The voice on the other end said, "A job opportunity has been arranged for you. You'll be contacted with further details soon. Do you accept?" Tears welled in Daniel's eyes. "Yes, yes, I accept. Thank you. Thank you so much. Good luck, Mr. Owens," the voice said, "and don't waste this opportunity." Months passed. Daniel took the job in administrative position at a logistics company. It wasn't glamorous, but it was stable. He worked harder than anyone, proving himself every single day. His story spread. Some people criticized me for helping just one man when thousands struggled, but I didn't care about the headlines. This wasn't about politics. This was about doing what was right. One evening, after leaving a press event, I found a letter on my desk. It was from Daniel. "Mr. President, I don't know if you remember me, but I will never forget what you did for me. That day in the diner, you didn't have to listen. You didn't have to give me a chance. But you did. And because of that, my daughter sleeps in her own bed every night. We have food on our table. I have dignity again. Thank you for seeing me when no one else did. Sincerely, Daniel Owens." I held the letter for a long time, staring at the words. It was a reminder, not of power, not of politics, but of the simple truth that leadership is about people. One moment of kindness had changed a life. And that, to me, was more valuable than anything else. And this brings us to the end of the story. Thank you for watching till the end. If you enjoyed this story, don't hesitate to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring tales. See you next time.